Welcome to Bear, brought to you by Giddy, the world's largest sexual health platform. Hi, Gretchen.
Hi.
Thank you for doing this.
Yes, I'm happy to be here.
When did you learn about Slade's vasectomy?
Okay, so I actually knew about Slade's vasectomy very early on because obviously we started having sex and unprotected sex. And I was like, I need to know what's going on here because we were married and all those things that I was like, what's the situation? So he had voiced to me that he had a vasectomy, and he had had a vasectomy due to Grayson, who was diagnosed with cancer. And with the woman that he was with at the time, she had had multiple miscarriages and multiple issues. And then when Grayson was diagnosed with cancer, they just thought that was the responsible thing to do because they thought maybe their stuff together just wasn't producing healthy children. Obviously, he meets me and he's, not with that woman anymore. And he meets me and he's like, well, that sucks.
Yeah, which people need to think about. That's why it's so important to share this.
If there's any red flags and you think there might be a chance of having another baby, don't do it because it is so much like pain and suffering and arduous stuff you have to go through in order to have a baby again. It was a 5.5-hour surgery, 12-week recovery. Wow. He had 2 massive scars on either side because they had to go in and reconnect them. Thank God it all healed okay, but it was like, I saw him afterwards, I was like, I just had you mutilated.
How long did you have to wait to have sex?
So
did you have to wait?
You had to wait
12 weeks.
I think it was 6 to 12 weeks. I forget now, but it's something like that, 6 to 12 weeks. And then you have to go in every 3 months or something and get it tested. And every time we went in, there was no sperm showing.
And a man can't ejaculate at all. You can't masturbate, nothing.
Not during the recovery. Yeah. No, absolutely not. Because you could totally damage all. Because to help people understand, when you do a vasectomy, there's 2 things that happen. The doctor, when he's in there, so the surgery could be 2 hours or it can be 5.5 hours, which it was with Slade. And what can happen is where they cut the vase. So the vase is like this, and they cut the vase and then they solder it on either side. So it stops having the sperm go between the 2 vases. The vase is the size of think of angel hair pasta, tiny, tiny, tiny. So when they go to reconnect those 2, okay, when he cuts that part that was cauterized off, and there's sperm right here, that's really good sign. And then he can put the 2 together. If there's not sperm right there, he has to go down through all the wiggly squiggly da-da-da because the vase is so long and crazy and miles of
intricate
stuff.
Yeah.
They have to go deep down and find another place and then slowly go in and connect it. So it's a very complicated surgery. You have to have a true professional doing it that really knows what he's doing in order to make that connection happen. Now, what happened for Slade, happens for a lot of people, is they scar down. And no matter how good your surgeon is, if you don't scar well, it's going to scar down, and still, no matter what, the sperm's not going to get through.
Yeah.
So we're afraid that's what happened with Slade. And so we never saw the sperm. And so it was 9 months that we went through. Mm-hmm. I mean, we were having sex every which way. We got, literally we looked up every crazy thing of get the thing to stick under your ass and do this and
doing handstands,
drink frogs in a shake and literally we were trying everything thinking this will work or that will work, and it just wasn't working. And I just remember that final I think it was 9 months later, I forget what the time period was, but it was something, and they said at this point if the sperm isn't showing up, it's probably never going to show up. And I just remember bawling because I was 39 years of age. And I remember going, I'm never going to have a biological baby. I'm never going to have this. It was a really sad realization. And now I'm 39 years of age. I don't have any eggs frozen. I don't have any of this stuff. And I just cried and cried and cried. And I was like, how is this going to happen? And I just couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Physiologically, the facts and the science shows that at 34, you lose half of your egg production. At 39, you lose another half of that half. You are the most fertile you're ever going to be at 17 years of age. Okay? 17. Who's having babies at 17? Nobody. Okay? So the fact that that's the case, if you can freeze your eggs in your 20s, that is ideal. Nowadays, like places like SCRC, where I went and had my my IVF with, they have egg freezing for as low as $188 a month. So people think, oh, it's astronomical. It's so expensive. Yes, it is. But there's programs that you can really do it.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times people are focused on their career. They're not paying attention to those things. And that's what happens. The second piece of advice that I will give that is super imperative is if you are going through any sort of IVF and your doctor does not encourage you to do genetic testing, it is the stupidest thing you could ever do. And I'll tell you why. Majority of your eggs, because we are doing science here, they're pumping your body of all these hormones, making something unnaturally happen in your body. Most of your eggs are not going to be mature, viable eggs, which is what happened in my round that I lost 14 eggs. They did not have the right number. I want to say it was like ECG or something. I forget what the name is, but there was something. It has to hit a certain level for it to be considered a mature egg. When you're pumping yourself of all these hormones, you're going to be lucky if you get a couple good, strong eggs, especially when you're older. When you're younger, you have a better chance. But when you're older, you're going to have a lot harder chance. A lot of people like me, I have 14 embryos, think, oh my gosh, I have 14 babies. This is amazing. Let's go. Let's implant them. What am I going to do with the other 13? You know, like you think you're going to have like a moral issue with that. The truth is majority of those embryos probably are not genetically sound. And you're going to implant them and you're going to have a miscarriage and you're going to go through a horrible up and down roller coaster. You're going to go through this. I'm pregnant. Oh my God, this is amazing. 6 weeks to 12 weeks, you're going to lose the baby. I've had so many of my friends go through this and it's tragic. They go through round after round after round. You need to test your eggs. Yes. Is it more expensive? 100%. And the other thing is too, is you want to test an embryo when it first is implanted with the sperm. Okay. You don't want to freeze it and then have to go test again because you actually hurt the quality of your embryo. So the facility that you're with is so extremely important. You need to make sure that your embryologist is just as good as your IVF doctor. He is there watching your child, making sure it develops, making sure it's okay, making sure it's in the right juice, making sure the environment is right. Everything has to be perfect. The other recommendation I would tell people is make sure you have an in-house lab. Like I said, this story, this content, this information could go on for days for you. I know right down to what's called a mock implantation that I did that ups your chances by 25%. It's a new technology that just recently
and I've never
came
even
out.
heard of this either.
Sorry, I'm off my soapbox.
For all of your sexual health related news, information, and questions, visit getmegiddy.com.